Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is June 8th, 2021. It is a Tuesday. It means it's Trivia Tuesday today, although today's game isn't really going to be trivia so much, but it is Tuesday, and I like alliteration, so we'll call it Trivia Tuesday. The name of today's game is If They Were Runners. What I'll do is I've picked 5 fictional characters, and you guys are going to tell me what running shoes would they wear if they were runners. Because I think some of these characters may or may not actually be runners in the movies or the shows that they were in. I don't know that they were all at any point running, but I think that's all kind of factor into it. You guys tell me what shoes they would wear. But before we do that, let's say hi to everyone listening on the podcast version. If you're listening to this on the run, hopefully you're having a good one out there and it's not too hot for you. Today is very humid here in Chicago. I did get out for my first run after the 50K today, and overall felt pretty good. Went out there for about a little shorter than about an hour, I think. Probably would have been better to go for about 45 minutes, but overall feeling good. Nothing really that I can complain of. Just muscles are a little bit tired. Feel a little bit winded. It also could just be the humidity, but I'm in a good spot. Hopefully you guys are too. And everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, hopefully you guys are having a good day today as well. Hopefully you already got your run in and now you're relaxing. Today I am drinking some the Huma Recovery. I think it's called Huma Recovery. I forget what it's called. It's a Huma electrolyte drink. No sugar in it, so it's not a sports drink, but it's for throughout the day afterwards. If you want to top up on some electrolytes, that's what you can have. It's the raspberry lemonade flavor. I've been drinking it for a while. And I found that for the most part, it's not that great. Just tastes like salty water kind of sometimes. But when it's hot out and I put some ice cubes in it, it becomes deliciously refreshing. So I've been enjoying that. All right, let's see who's here today. Chris Yao says about the name of today's game, If They Were Runners. He says it might be about me. That's pretty funny. Robert Hodge says, but if it were about superheroes, then it would be about you, Chris. Oh, that's very nice. Philip Board says, good day, everyone. What's going on, Philip? Hope you and Laura are doing all right. Yana says, hey, everyone. Hope you're doing great. Finally in my hostel room after 5 hours on the train, getting my room ready for tomorrow's state exams. Hope I'll get that bachelor degree. Well, good luck tomorrow. Hopefully you're doing well. Glad to see that you're in your room and kind of can relax and get ready for tomorrow's tests. So good luck tomorrow. We'll be thinking about you. Gino Days Off says 26.2 on a Monday in Noblesse 1 was a blast. Nice. Wow. Great work. That's quite a Monday. Incredible. All right. Sarah said, hey, y'all, I missed live stream live yesterday, but watched later and wanted to ask, after a race like that, are you super hungry later that day or days that follow? That's a lot of calories being expended. Yeah. I took in a lot of liquid calories, I guess. I drank a lot of beers in the next couple of days or that day. And then the next day after that, well, the day after that, I didn't really drink any beers. Did I? It was a Saturday. So Sunday I did not have any beers. But I did have quite a few that afternoon, which was real nice. So that's some calories. I was surprisingly not hungry. I think because for the most part, I was trying to stay on top of like gels and nutrition and hydration. So like I didn't even really feel hungry until like maybe the last half hour of the run. And so that's unusual for me because a lot of days I just have coffee and then I'll go out for my run. And if I go out for kind of like, an hour and a half run, at the like hour mark, I start to get a little bit hungry if I don't bring a gel. So like, I feel like I did a pretty decent job managing stuff. And I wasn't like I thought I would just be like, give me all the food. The following morning, I was a little bit hungry. My mother-in-law had made a double batch of cinnamon rolls for everyone. And I may have eaten like half a tray by myself. So there's that. But I wasn't just like, give me more food. We did have Happy Joe's pizza for dinner, though, which was nice. And I had, I guess a regular amount. So I was surprisingly not starving. But I'm guessing that it could just really depend. I think if like the temperatures were cooler that day, I might have been more hungry. But like whenever it gets real hot, it suppresses my appetite quite a bit. So I guess that's something good to keep in mind. But yeah, it was real hot that day. But yeah, I was surprisingly not that hungry, which is very strange. Very strange. Ted Ruth says, hey, y'all. What's going on, Ted? Martha says, Martha's here. She says hi. Let's see. Steven Gersdorf says, all right, he's got an update for the Escalante Racer 300 miles. The denser Ego midsole seems to last longer than expected and will try for 400 miles now. It's still keeping shape and resiliency, but becoming more minimal, but in a good way. I was just watching Ginger Runner's review of some shoe of a brand that I never heard of before. He says that they do like ski boots and other stuff like that, but they're getting into some trail shoes, and it looked like a pair of Solomons to me. But he was, Ginger Runner always talks about like, yeah, this shoe, like at like the 70th mile, then it really started to open up, and I'm just like, I mean, he makes it seem sometimes like the shoes are like shelter dogs, that they're just like, a little timid and shy for a little while, and then they'll snuggle later on, like after a couple of months. So I just I've not really ever experienced that. So like maybe my feet aren't discerning enough. But like when you say like it becomes more minimal in a good way, like I don't know that I think I gotta pay more attention to that kind of thing as I go on, I think. Because I feel like it's something that does happen, but maybe I just don't notice. Or maybe I just haven't been paying close enough attention. So that's something I'll keep an eye out for. I'm interested to see what, Ultra does in the next couple of years as far as like their racing shoes go. So they have the Racer, which is, I guess, I didn't know it was a denser Ego midsole foam. I knew it was Ego foam, which is denser than their Quantic foam. I just thought it was like the Racer, like the Escalante, but they just shaved off, not shaved off, but they didn't have as much stack height on it. But I just saw some photos, and I don't know if they're real or not. They're goofy enough that I'm not sure that they're real. Of the next on running shoe, the Cloud Boom, is that what it's called? Their carbon plated shoe, and it looks super goofy, but it's super tall. The first one was very like a moderate stack height, almost like a Meta Racer stack height. The next one is like, it looks like they just put a second midsole and just glued it to the bottom, and it looks super thick. So like, it'll be interesting to see if Ultra does something or tries to do something with carbon or plays with a taller stack height racer shoe, or if they just stay the course and go with the Racer as is, or let people race in the Escalante, the regular one, for longer races. I think I could probably race in that. I could run a marathon in the Escalante. I don't know that I'd love racing in it though, but yeah, that's an interesting one. Thanks for the update, Steven. All right. Mika's here says, evening all. Still only calf strengthening exercises for me. Time to put in some work for the PhD as I'm in study plus run leave for the summer. Ooh, all right. Very good. Well, hopefully you get back to the running soon, but it's good to be productive in your time if you're not running anyway. Robert says, Kofizi, where do you find your music? All of my music I get from Epidemic Sound. So it's a music service that lets you license the music for use on socials. Like, I don't know if I could use it for commercial projects or not, or maybe there's different tiers of subscriptions. But I know for like, if I put something on like Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, I think it'll be fine. But they have a pretty wide library, and it gets updated. Or there's just constantly new music being added to it. So, I feel like I'm surprised that I haven't like kind of gone through all the music yet, because I use at least like a song a day. And so it's been pretty surprising that I try not to have repeats. Sometimes I inadvertently do, but I kind of keep a list of stuff so that way I can help avoid having repeats. But that's where I find it all. And it's a lot of kind of just like, sometimes I'm looking for something specific, but other times I just kind of go in there every once in a while if I have some time, and I will just kind of like explore things that sound good. And then there's like a button that you could press that says find more that sound like this. And then I'll just kind of go through that, and I'll just kind of go down a rabbit hole. And then like every once in a while, I'll just have like, 7 to 10 songs that I just recently downloaded that all have kind of like a similar vibe or sound. And that's nice to have, because then it's just like I have a nice chunk of that type of music to choose from. All right. Hummus with Pita says, dude, love the 50K video. Real inspiration for us mid-packers. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thank you so much for watching. And Ted Reed says, 10 nines. Yeah, that video came out today, and that was a fun one to make because it's just such a weird and bizarre shoe. I mean, I've seen some weird stuff from Deckers, which is the parent company. But like that, I mean, that 10-9 is super weird. I have another weird pair of shoes. I think that Believe in the Run also reviewed the 10-9, or at least there was like an Instagram post or something about that at some point. And there's another shoe that I have that actually came out like a year ago. I don't even know if you can get anymore, but it's been in a box that I've been meaning to get to, and I might get to it soon. It's also super weird. Maybe we'll get to that one, but yeah, it's been it's a fun shoe to make, and it's hard to express just how large that shoe is. It's so big. All right, let's go with let's start at the game. If they were runners. All right, so I'm going to give you like a fictional character, and then you could give me a rationale or just a shoe brand or a specific shoe if you want. I can kind of help. Maybe I'll help you guys along on some of these. But the first one that I'll give you is, what running shoes would they wear if they were runners? And the first one is Hermione Granger or Emma Watson. You can kind of like use either one of those. I don't know if like Emma Watson is a known runner, and then maybe there's like tabloid photos of her out in like her running shoes somewhere. But I'm trying to think of like, all right, you got Hermione Granger from Harry Potter. She's British. She's a muggle. So like she lives in the regular world a lot of times too. She's not just a wizard. So like, what are some of the more popular brands in the UK? She's very studious. She's basically like a British Lisa Simpson in a lot of ways. So like, what would that kind of person wear? That's where I'm going with this one. JC says Magic Speed. There you go. That's a good one. Mark says Hermione would wear Hoka's. Do you think she would wear Hoka's? See, here's the thing. I think I could see her wearing Hoka's. I could see her wearing Innovates because she'd be like, it's a good British company. You got to support local. I could see her being a fell runner for sure. But I could also see her being like, would she be in a Peloton? Like, I don't see her being in like a Peloton class, but I could see her being like really big fan of like park run. So Martha agrees with Hoka. Sue Ann says to Innovate as well. Christia says 0. I feel like 0 is going to come up for like a lot of the people that are on the list that I have for today. Stephen Gershom says Hermione would wear Pegasus because they would sprout wings and let her fly. Very nice. Very nice. Adam C says that Asics Tarthur Edge. I could see that. A very sensible choice, I think. Sarah says the Brooks Auroras. Oh, you guys are getting real clever with some of these shoe names too. Philip is running in ballet shoes feasible? I'm not really sure that it is. Yeah, it says Asics, maybe the Gel Nimbus. I could see that. That's kind of where I would put her at. I would think like maybe the Nimbus Light. I could see her doing that. Like the purple. There's like a purple one, right? I think I could see her do that. But Mark says the Magic Speed is win. I do think so. But Frank also says the Peg 37s because it's so straight laced. And Raymond Soller says they love Skechers in the UK because they can be hard to get. It's becoming easier now. 40 says, oh, okay. Well, that's good for you guys. Okay. Devon says Reebok, British. So maybe she would be the Velocity Wind or Flow Velocity, right? The Flow Velocity Wind. Maybe that would be it. Or Chris McLean says the Run Fast Pro London edition. There we go. Yeah. Nice. Those were really good options, guys. There's no right answer or wrong answer. I have no idea what Hermione Granger would wear. I have no connection with J.K. Rowling, so I can't like get any kind of confirmation on that. But I think Magic Speed has got to be the choice, right? I mean, just because it says magic in it, but I do like the idea of the Innovates to be out on the trails. So I think that's kind of where I'm leaning on that one. Josh Greenberg says, hello from Central Jersey. Yes, it does exist. I agree. I spent a lot of my time growing up in Central Jersey, I would say. So welcome, Josh. My mom is also here coming in from New Jersey. She's in North Jersey now. That's where they live. But yeah, we're not South. We're in South Jersey. I was in, we lived in like Middlesex County over by Rutgers for a while, and then we moved down to Monmouth County for a while too, right along the Jersey Shore. So I feel like that's kind of like Central Jersey, right? What is the band of Central? Like Asbury Park? Is that like where we're talking about? Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's all kind of in the same area. Alex M says, "What's up from San Diego? Long-time listener, first-time caller. Awesome. Welcome, Alex. Hope you're having fun today. For any of you guys who have any running questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll get to them. There's no like real structure for today. We're just hanging out, playing a little bit of a game. But if you do have a running question, I want to make sure that we can, either I or someone else here can get it answered for you. So feel free to put it in there. All right, Remy is here. Remy Be Real says, what it do? Congrats, Co. Hey, did I keep missing the live? I love the wave there. And good to see. I love the new, like this logo over here. It looks nice. Real nice. And it's good to see you. All right. Josh Greenberg says from Central Jersey, he's going to do a 35-mile or so bike ride to the Jersey Shore. That's awesome. That'd be a nice place to finish. All right. Chris says, Co, I've completed 3 weeks of consistent 4 runs per week with total mileage increase of about 3 miles per week. Why does Garmin think I'm peaking versus base building, which this should be? I mean, maybe because you've been increasing your mileage per week, maybe your heart rate has been lower during those runs. So that would be my guess, like, because it's going to take not only like your mileage, but also your heart rate into account. So like if your heart rate is lower than what it's been, it might say that, okay, you're recovering now. And so your body might be primed for a harder effort. So that could be the reason why it's doing that. And Fabian Hobelin says, yeah, I had a running question about running socks. Do you use them, and which are your favorite? From a new runner. Well, welcome, Fabian. I do use running socks. Like in the wintertime, it matters to me less. And so sometimes I'll use socks that are intended for activity, but not necessarily running. Like I like ones that come all the way up to like the knee. So I'll wear a lot of like socks that might be designed for skiing, because those are things that are intended for a long time outdoors, but for physical activity using your legs. So I kind of like that. Or I'll just wear like thick cotton socks or wool socks that may or may not be intended for running, just to stay warm. The hotter it gets, the more I look for a specific running sock. Right now, Stance are my favorite. They can be a little bit pricey, but I think that they're kind of like in the middle realm of priciness for running socks. A lot of the running stores tend to have like a cheap generic-ish, maybe that has like the running stores logo on it. A brand that, can come in like a 3-pack or something like that. That's usually a good way to get started. If you don't have any, get a couple sets of those, buy 1 or 2 like pairs of good running socks. Splurge a little bit and save that for like your long run days or for your race days. And then you can always kind of build from there. And Yana says she has the Craft socks. They're very, very, very thin, but really comfortable and great for summer. I've not tried Craft socks. I'm gonna have to try that. All right. Let's get to the next one for today. All right, number 2. What running shoes would they wear if they were a runner? Dominic Toretto, played by Vin Diesel in the Fast and the Furious movies. What shoes with Dominic Toretto? Because Dominic's pretty fit, right? He clearly works out. But he seems to me more of like a gym and weights guy, but maybe he gets his cardio and he's pretty cut. So like, what does he wear when he goes running? Frank says the Tempo Next Percent. I could see that, but that might be like too long distance of a shoes for him. Chris Yao said the Yeezys. That's funny. Lewis says Bondi 9. You think? I could see that if he were like, I'm going to get some long miles in. I mean, he would have like a very strong, like, what's that guy run? His name is like, I run 26.2. No, that's the name of an app. There's like 26.2 runner. There's a guy who's huge and he runs like a 240 marathon or something like that. Big guy. Maybe he was faster than that. John Brian Serrano says the Hoka 10.9. That's funny. Recycle on Wednesday says Under Armour. Yeah, I think Under Armour would be a pretty strong very, very strong choice. He'd probably get would he get the Rock version? I don't know. In this weird universe where Dominic Toretto's buying running shoes, is the Rock, or is the Rock just the guy that works for the government that's always trying to chase him down, or depending on which movie it is, right? So, yeah, but I think that he would get like whatever one. He would probably have some sort of workout shoe. I think Under Armour is probably a good one. A good workout shoe with like the Texas Longhorns on it. Stevie76 says Reebok pumps. Remy says prototype unreleased Supreme from Japan. I could see that. They might not even be good for running, but he's going to rock those. I could see that. Raymond Zoller says Mach 4. That's a good one. Very nice. Yeah. Josh Reagan says he lives his life a quarter mile at a time. So it's going to be a shoe made for speed. There you go. Love it. That's nice. Awesome. That's a really good answer. Ten Root says Onitsuka Tigers. I can see him doing that, going old school on it. Again, going more like for the look, because he's not going to be running that long anyway, I don't think. Yeah, Brendan said the specially made Vin Diesel shoe. Next percent midsole croc upper with special pins. Special pins. Oh, that's funny. It's funny. But I do think that, I was thinking that it was going to be, let's see what else we got in here. We got Alpha Flies, Next Percent 2s, white and black. And yeah, Jay says, what are CrossFit guys wear? Philip Bourne says blacked out SL20. I could see that. But I think that, yeah, JC's like is where I'm thinking. And then when you guys started talking about Under Armour, that made total sense. So I'm thinking whatever the Under Armour like CrossFit type shoe is, I think that's probably it. I was thinking about the Metcon because that's the only like CrossFit shoe that I can name, like by model. So like that's where my mind's at. The other thing I was thinking is he could be in Zero shoes, the XERO ones. Because, like, isn't that what Joe Rogan wears? So I feel like if Dominic Toretto listens to podcasts, he probably listens to Joe Rogan, and he probably runs in whatever shoes Joe Rogan runs in. That's kind of where my mind's at on that one. This is so funny. Frank says, can you imagine Fast and the Furious driving in the 10.9s? Oh, man. That's so funny. All right. Daniel Sudo says, how did the fuel cell Rebel version 2 compare to the Skechers Speed 3 from a few years ago? I'm assuming better cushion response. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the Rebel version 2 yet. I did just order a new pair of New Balance shoes, but the Rebels 2s weren't it. For whatever reason, I really wanted it when it like first came out and everyone was all hyped on it, and then I couldn't buy it yet. And then now that I can buy it, I'm like, I can wait on it a little bit more. I just feel like the year's going to be real long. I'm not even starting to think about marathon training yet. I mean, I'll be running, but I'm not really thinking about marathon training yet. But I'll be training for kind of 2 marathons in this fall. So like I got a lot of running I could do. So I'm not in a rush to get the Rebel 2 right now because I'm thinking, I'll love that shoe come like September, October, maybe, or maybe I'll get it sooner than that. But then like the Razor, like the Speed 3, is the Speed 3 different than the Razor 3? That's the Razor 3 is the one that said speed on the side. I ran in the Razor 3. The Rebel 2, I'm not sure how different it's going to be. I think they're going to be a lot. I think that I have a sense that the Rebel 2 is going to be a little bit squishier than the Razor 3 is going to be. The Razor 3 felt a little bit firmer of a foam to me. Patrick Funk says Timberland boots were worn by Dominic Toretto. Dom was wearing Tim's in the Fast and Furious 9. Was he? See, you know what? I feel like I was a huge fan of the series up until, I don't know, definitely up through Tokyo Drift. And then like I lost track of that franchise for a couple of movies. I think that coincides when baby number 2 was born. So I just lost track of things. I went through like a pop culture like wormhole or black hole. I just didn't see anything. And then all of a sudden I'm like, there's so many to keep up with. And I'm like, what is Hobbs and Shaw? How does that fit into the Fast and the Furious universe? So like, I'm still trying to like catch up really. One day, because like I feel like I've seen them all on a variety of flights, but like I couldn't tell you like what happened in any one of those. That's the thing. All right. Luke Ng is waiting for the next gen Adios and Boston to release. Yeah, the Adios 6 is out in the US, but that Boston, I don't know if there's a date on that yet. I haven't seen any dates, so I'm excited for that one too. Stephen Gersh says Ultra fanboy here again. Says I think Ultra's parent company also has Timberland. Do they really? That'd be an interesting crossover. Well, I mean, like the Hoka's making a 10.9 boot. It doesn't have as big of a trunk as the 10.9 does, but there's like the 10.9 Trail Hiker GTX or something like that. Actually kind of looks nice. I mean, you could walk downstairs in it, I believe. So there's that. But that's interesting. Yeah, like they do a really good job of not like mixing the brands up too much, So I kind of do appreciate that they're letting them kind of do their own things and exist separately. Swanson says, for Father's Day, I think I saw a deal where you buy the first 8 Fast and the Furious films in a bundle. That's quite a bundle. I mean, like at a certain point, it's just going to be like, do you remember when they used to sell those like 007 sets and like DVDs, and it would take up like an entire bookshelf because like the entire collection was so big? I mean, that's so much. Raymond Solers asks, will you be reviewing the Skechers Go Run Max Road 5? It's not high on my list. I'm kind of annoyed at Skechers again because I just feel like with all these like Razor 3 variants, it's kind of like I don't understand what they're doing. Are we where's the Go Run Ride 9? Is that out? I don't know what's going on with them. It just seems like they were like, oh, we made some good shoes. Let's just keep making the same one. Put some new colors on it and see how much longer we can like squeeze some like revenue out of that. And I just want them to like be in the game, like be both feet in and like make shoes, update them, be part of like the community. But I just feel like I don't know. I just get a weird vibe from Skechers lately, and I just want them to be more involved. I don't know. Not sure. And Steven Gershoff says Saucony is owned by Wolverine Boot. It is. I don't even know what Wolverine Boot is. And Mike Dobbins-Beck says Ultra is owned by VF Corp, which also owns North Face and Smartwool as well as Timberland. Oh. They have North Face and Saucony? That could be a good combo there. Interesting. Santana says, Santana asks, what is your favorite daily trainer? Right now, it's the Nova Blast 2. I love that shoe. It's great. Ed Chan says they need to make an energy gel called Nas. There's like a drink, a soda. It's kind of like Monster, like a Monster type drink. That's called Nas, and it has like, it's labeled after nitrous. So like the company that makes that, whatever. So Martha says Brooks is owned by Brooks, which is owned by Warren Buffett. Yeah, that's why I love the fact that they put his face on stuff. But I feel like they should need to be more forward about that. They need to lean into that harder, I think. All right. Well, let's get to the next one. Although Move More Now, James Nielsen says regarding Ultra, looking forward to the new Ego Max midsole coming soon. I'm not sure what that is. That sounds great. I mean, right now I've been enjoying the Lone Peak, and I feel like I could also just run in the Lone Peak, even though it's a trail shoe, on the roads. But I would love to know what like the road, like, is there a sibling shoe to that? That's plenty soft for me, and it's plenty stack height. So like I feel like if I could have like a road version of the Lone Peak, that would work. I think I would really like that. All right. Let's get to the next one. Number 3. Here we go. What running shoes would they wear if they ran Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, played by Nick Offerman? Any thoughts on what he would wear? This could be a pretty interesting one, I think. This could go a lot of ways. Yeah. Terry Furlong says that in the UK, Skechers is marketed at middle-aged ladies and golfists. Well, I mean, Skechers is marketed at a lot of people. And here in the US, like the regular like Skechers, like the walking shoes and like the casual shoes are marketed at, I don't know, people that watch a lot of sports on TV, it seems. Like if your biggest sports related or athletic activity on the weekend is watching football all day on the couch, like Skechers seems to be like, that's why they have like Howie Long or whoever. And like, what is it? Tony Romo, their spokespersons, like football players, American football players for you, Terry. But Skechers Performance doesn't really market at all, except on Running Warehouse. Like that's like the only place that they market. So yeah. Stevie76 says Ron Swanson would run in Crocs. Chris says the New Balance dad model. That's a solid choice. I could totally see that. And they'd be gleaming. They'd be leather, and he will have polished them with like the white shoe leather, and also sprayed them down with the water repellent. There we go. Leslie Clayton, I think we're on the same page as the all-white New Balance. Remy thinks he runs barefoot. Daniel Cito says Nike Cortez. He just goes old school and runs in like sneakers from his childhood. Nice. Martha says, please tell me something about this character or actor. He's a guy. He's a rugged outdoorsman. He works in the government, but he's like a crazy libertarian. Thinks that, I mean, the character was funnier like pre-Trump era, I guess, because he was like kind of like an anti-government type of old-fashioned kind of guy in a non-conspiracy theory kind of way. I don't know. It sounds weird to describe him now, but his favorite fruit to eat is meat, and he loves to whittle wood. He's a woodworker, and hates his computer, hates his job, that kind of thing. So that's what it's just really funny. Yeah, it actually makes no sense when I describe it. I can't believe, Martha, you haven't seen Parks and Recreation? It's a good show. I like that one. Adam Steve thinks Brooke Beast. That's a good choice. He's gonna want like a big shoe. He's gonna want one that he's gonna be able to like take off and use the back of it as a hammer if he had to in an emergency situation. Yeah, Mark Jenkins says Brooks easily. You guys think so? Jordan Bryan Serrano says John Bryan says A6 Gel Cayano. I could see that. Do you think he needs some stability in that? Yeah, Ortega Wednesday says, yeah, he makes canoes. He like probably hand whittles them too. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, Daniel Suter says American libertarian character, big meter, would be off the grid. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Luke says steel toe boots. That's kind of what I was thinking. He's probably going to have some sort of army surplus, something that he got, that he wears while running in like tan colored like denim and like a flannel shirt and like a old army surplus rucksack. That's how I see Ron Swanson running. Like if he's doing an ultra, he's the guy running in the flannel shirt, rolled up sleeves. Alex says for real, for sure he would run in leather boots, maybe combat boots. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. And Sneaker says, wouldn't he make his own? I could see that. Why would I pay good money to buy a shoe that's going to wear out in a couple thousand miles when I could make my own? And Martha says thick wool hiking socks with sandals. I could see that too. Socks and sandals for sure. You could see that. Nice. Andrew PPD says, hi, Kafuzi, can you explain a little bit about heel drop and an ideal heel drop to prevent calf muscle injury? Yeah, heel drop is just the idea of it is the shoe is the back of the shoe is higher than the front of the shoe. So I don't know why they call it heel drop. They should really call it toe drop, but I also think that toe drop also means something medically, so maybe that's why they do it. But another way to think of it is heel elevation. How much is the heel elevated from the forefoot in terms of the shoe? Think of it kind of like a drag strip racing car. You know, they got giant wheels in the back and it kind of leans forward and it looks like it's going fast even when it's staying still, because it's just like tilted forward a little bit. Most shoes are a little bit taller in the back and then in the front. When you have a zero drop shoe, that means it's flat across, maybe not flat, but the amount of cushioning in the heel is the same as the amount of cushioning in the forefoot. There might be some undulation underneath the arch and things like that, but in other words, it's the same. And I don't really think that there's an ideal heel drop to prevent calf or muscle injury. Unless you already have a muscle injury, then there might be, if that's what you're talking about, like I'm already hurt, or I tend to get hurt whenever I start running. What should I run in? I mean, that could be a little bit different. But I think a lot of it does come down to preference. Most like Nike and Adidas shoes are in the 10 millimeter heel drop range. Hoka and other shoes will come in at 4 millimeters. 8 millimeters is another popular one that some Adidas shoes come in at. Sauconys come in at 8. Some of the Asics come in at 8 or 10. Some of them come in at 0, like Ultra. So you can get any of the variety that are in there. And the thing that I would probably recommend if you are buying just one shoe is to probably get something that's not less than 4 and not more than 10, and anything in that range is probably fine. If you're going to have more than one shoe in your rotation, I think it's a good idea to have a variety of heel drops. So that way your legs aren't getting too accustomed to just one kind of angle to be in. The other way to think of it, though, is that I think that a lot of people spend a lot of too much time worrying about heel drop. Unless you're someone that runs, I am that kind of person that runs on very, very flat and not very hilly terrain. Because if you're running on hilly terrain, that's going to provide some variance on your muscles and joints. But if it's very, very flat, or if you're doing all treadmill running, that's where it might be a little bit more important. But I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just don't go too far on either end of the spectrum. All right. Josh Greenberg says, so I'm in this weird situation where I have a stretch fracture, but can start cross training sometime around the 20th. Any advice on how I can base train for cross country on the bike and swim? I can't run till August. Yeah. So if you can be on the bike, I would stay on the bike quite a bit. I would go for, a lot of time, I would go by heart rate and time. Don't worry about the distance so much. But I would try to make sure you're staying at kind of like whatever your easy pace of running heart rate would be. Try to hit that on the bike. It's going to feel pretty intense. It's going to feel like a good workout to do that. So you might even be at a lower heart rate than what you would kind of do your easy runs in. So if you could do that, that's great. I would generally say I feel like for me to get the equivalent feeling workout, I've got to bike like 1.25 to 1.5 times as long as I would have run to kind of get the equivalent like feeling of like kind of like tiredness after a run. And for swimming, you could swim, you could do aqua jogging. I don't really swim all that much, although I was in a pool this weekend. I tried to swim a length of the pool and I was pretty winded by the end of it. Swimming's hard, but swimming is a really great way to base train for cross country because it's a lot of aerobic work. So, I mean, if you can be in the like alternate days of being on the bike and in the pool, like I think you're going to be in really great condition when you can get back and run. So I think that if you're cleared for those activities, that's great news. It could be so much worse. So, yeah. All right. Let's get to, Remy says, bro, swimming is so hard. It is. It's so hard. I mean, yeah, I can't do it. I can. I'm really bad at it. And I have not a lot of practice at it. Yeah. All right. Let's get to the next one. Number 4. All right. This will be an interesting one for you guys. If they were a runner, what running shoes did they wear? Nicholas Angel, otherwise, or Simon Pegg from Hot Fuzz. Do you guys remember that movie? That was a funny movie. I had no idea what Hot Fuzz was going to be about when I started watching it. That movie took a lot of weird turns that I just wasn't expecting. It was one of those movies that I think I saw on an airplane while traveling. And I was just like, okay, I guess I'll watch it. I liked Shaun of the Dead. So I kind of had an idea of who Simon Pegg is and like his style of the movies that he's in. But for those of you who don't know who he is, he's an ambitious young cop in London who gets promoted in a way, but to a very small, quiet, like kind of like not rural, but like, yeah, I guess a rural town. And he's just ultimately so bored because he's very ambitious. He loves fighting crime. And now he's just kind of like got nothing to do. So yeah, he's in like a ton of stuff now. Mark says he's on Star Trek. He was in a Mission Impossible. He was in, I mean, just those two franchises. That's a lot of stuff to be in. So yeah, I'm a big fan of his. I thought Shaun of the Dead was so funny, and then also enjoyed Hot Fuzz quite a bit. But let's talk about Hot Fuzz. I mean, I guess we could go Shaun of the Dead too. I mean, whichever one you want to go. Frank, this would be the On Cloud Swift. I could see that. It seems like, yeah, I could see that for sure. Let's see. Mika says Pegg's probably running in black Converses. You think? Maybe Simon Pegg would be, but like, I don't know about his character from like the movie Hot Fuzz. I don't think so. I feel like he probably has whatever they recommended for him to get. I mean, I don't even know. In the UK, do you guys have like police academy, like an academy where the police have to go through training? Like whatever they told him to wear at the academy, I feel like is what he wears. If he were like an American cop, I'm not sure. But Martha's in on it too. On Cloud. Okay. I don't really know the difference between any of the On shoes, to be honest with you. So when you guys say on, once you guys say On, the rest of it, like I can't have a hard time picturing them. Yeah, Mark says he would have wear the Adidas Stan Smiths. I could see that. Luke says a triple black Ultra Boost. There you go. Because then he could wear it kind of like work-ish, like it's triple black. So it's like, you know, he could wear it with any of his workout clothes for when he's trying to stay in shape in case a crime spree were to break out in his shire, where he gets stationed. Move more now. James Nielsen says, love Simon Pegg. Town is actually my hometown in Wells. Awesome. Really? That's so cool. Amazing. Frank says that guy wouldn't care about, what's the character's name? Nicholas Angel. So he wouldn't care about comfort, like proper engineering in the latest tech. So yeah, I think On definitely sounds right for that. But I also think Ultra Boost, an Adidas shoe, could definitely work there too. I could see that. But I was also thinking like, well, I mean, he's from London, right? So maybe he is or isn't a trail runner, but I could totally see him in like a Solomon shoe as well. Cause he's like a smaller guy, you know. I could see him being like very agile up and down the mountain, wanting a very dialed in shoe to just tear up some of those trails. I could see it. Chrisia says, love Simon Pegg, super funny, although interesting transition in the Mission Impossible movies. Yeah. Daniel Suda says, good movie. I have no idea. But if it was Shaun of the Dead, it's cricket turfy easy. Just touching it out. Leona Wong says, Black Endorphin Speeds. Oh, that would be a good one. Yeah, Speed. Okay. Yeah, I like that one. That's a good choice. And Matthew Stewart says, I love Hot Fuzz. Rewatch recently. I got to rewatch that, I think. I don't know. There's so much that I don't watch. It seems a shame to like rewatch stuff, but like that was a good movie. And Alex says Nicholas Angel will probably use Adidas in class police colors. Yeah. Steve says it got to be Nike, but pronounced wrong. So you can call him. He would have the Nike Pegasus then. maybe. Awesome. Amir's here, says, wow, I finally woke up for the stream. It's 2:45 a.m. in Singapore. So morning, Copan. Good morning, Amir. Wow. I appreciate the dedication. Awesome. Thanks for stopping in. And JJ says, whatever pair he's in, he's probably in the blackout version. No nonsense. I could see that. Just like whatever is like a non-skid rubber outsole. That's probably what he's in. All right. Yeah, Matthew Stuber says, Black on black colorway, nondescript, would look like work shoes. Martha says, though, how about the black and white checker speed 2s? Like an old fashioned British taxi? I mean, I could see it, maybe. I think he would probably prefer, but I don't know. I think that the checkered endorphin series would work for him. I think. Yeah. All right. JJ says he thinks it would be weird shoes. All right, let's get to the next one. We're getting long on time. I got 2 more to get through. All right, here's the next one. Number 5. What running shoes would they wear if they were runners? Thomas Anderson, Mr. Anderson from The Matrix, Keanu Reeves. What do you think he wears? I've been thinking about this one a lot. I feel like Keanu Reeves, well, not Keanu Reeves, but I feel like Neo probably didn't like running all that much. I feel like he probably did it like maybe like once a week, maybe once or twice a week, but probably didn't enjoy it very much. Did it to stay in shape. Mainly on the treadmill is kind of what I'm thinking for him. So I don't know. I'm leaning towards something that probably not like a top flight shoe, something that you get at like one of the big box stores. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know. Granger says Cole Haan bounded leather sneaker soled shoes. You think? No, I don't think so. Because remember, he like in the Matrix, he was like a hacker, right? So at night he was anyway, and then during the day he had some sort of software desk job. So maybe he wore those to work, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Background says blackout Solomon Predict. I don't know. I feel like that would be like too like much for him. I feel like that'd just be too much midsole. I feel like he would go with something a little bit more discreet, like a black Kinvara. I could see that. Forever Float Rides. I could see that too. Yeah. But a minimalist blacked out shoe is kind of what I'm thinking for him if he were going running. SL20 is definitely where my mind goes on that. I could see it being like an Adidas shoe would make a lot of sense, but it wouldn't be like maybe not the Ultra Boost, maybe not the Solar Boost. The SL20 makes sense. Maybe like the Pulse Boost or like remember when they had like the Pure Boost DPR and like all those other ones, like those other something boost, Pulse Boost. I think like that's kind of where I think it would be. Marketing those things seems to be a New Balance kind of guy. Vincent Vignery says checkerboard slip-ons. I do think that I think that he for sure has a pair of Vans in the closet, right? So he's got to have that. Frank says John Wick wears tactical Oxfords. Oh, is that what it is? I never looked at his shoes in that movie. Shannon's here. She's hi, Co and Co. Busy day at work, but FOMO is a real phenomenon, so I had to stop by. Well, good to see you, Shannon. Awesome. What? Mika says there seem to be Simon Pegg signed Adidas Death Star Special Superstars going in an auction for $30K. What? That's a weird sentence. That's an amazing sentence. Crazy. Amir says maybe he could wear one of those Puma shoes if they were in black. Oh, I could see him doing that. But I think the float ride is probably a way he might go. Or an Adidas Samba. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Or very old school Puma in leather. Yeah. Andrew Bostic has a running question. Says, hey, Kowizzy, how should I build my mileage safely when I run around 3 miles every day? So if you're running 3 miles every day, I would say one of those days, make that longer. Go to 5 miles, go for that. And then maybe the day after that, keep it a little bit easier, or make the day after that long run a rest day. But I would just say if you're already running every day or close to every day, just make one of those runs a little bit longer and switch it up that way. And so that so let's say you're running 3 miles every single day. That's 21 miles. If you make one of those runs, like say on Sunday, a 5 mile run, that puts you at 23, and so then already that's a 10% increase in mileage. So you could do that for like a couple weeks. And then maybe that 5 mile becomes 6. And then maybe one of the runs during the week, instead of being 3, can be 4. right? So then you're adding just like little bits here and there. And so that's where I think that you could increase the mileage safely. On those longer runs, I wouldn't worry about pace or time. You're just getting out there to get that time on feet and give your body, not only just your lungs and your circulatory system, but your muscles and joints just acclimated to the new strain. You can certainly handle it, I think at that kind of mileage that you're doing. It's just about getting used to it and getting your body adapted to it. Yeah. All right. Let's go. I got one more if you guys want to keep playing this one for the bonus. This one's a little bit, I know all these were kind of wild cards, but here's another wild card for the bonus. What kind of running shoes would they wear if they were a runner? You can pick any character that Matthew McConaughey has ever played. Or you could just pick Matthew McConaughey. I don't know what Matthew McConaughey, I guarantee Matthew McConaughey runs in Zero shoes. Don't think? I don't know. He runs in that Lincoln commercial, right? He's like off in the woods. He's got his Lincoln Navigator. Is it the Navigator? Like parked at the trailhead, and he's running. He basically sprints down the hill and hops into his car. Like no cool down, no stretch. He just hops right. Maybe he's running late. But so he's done some running on camera before. I don't know if he's run in any of his other movies, but tell me what movie or character and what does he run in? Chris, the other thing is the vegetarian Reeboks. There you go. That's a good one. CE76 says, all right. Steven Gershwin think he may be a barefoot runner. I think I could see that. I could see him doing that. Or like him being interested in the transition, getting very caught up in the idea of like I feel like he and McDougal would be good friends. Yeah. What are those running sandals? Those for every of his characters. Yeah, the ones that look like moccasins, like they have like it's like a slab of something, and like a very thin slab of like leather, and then like just a strap that you like tie around some of your toes and then around your ankle and stuff. Yeah. Mark Ingham thinks he's definitely the kind of guy to run in Chuck Taylor's. I could see that too. And someone said, yeah, Johnny's Harpy says beat up Reebok Classics. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Adam JK has a question, says, hey, Co, my mother-in-law just started running and she's wondering what shoes to get for a beginner running easy miles on delicate knees, modest budget. Any ideas? So if you're like budget conscious, I would, and now is the best time for it because the new shoes are either just out or about to come out for this year, which means there's a lot of like last year's shoes that are on discount. That's probably the best way to kind of keep costs low. So I'm trying to think from last year's shoes, what are great shoes for a beginner running easy miles on delicate knees? I would look at the Novablast 1. That would be one to look at. That for mother-in-laws, it might be a little bit out there in terms of the design. It might be a little bit crazy. So another one that I would look at would be the Clifton 7. So Novablast 1, Clifton 7, 1080 version 10 is another one that I also think would be really great for delicate knees. So those are some ones that I would look at first. And good luck to your mother-in-law. It sounds like she's in for an exciting time. Very cool. All right. Any more for do we have any more for Matthew McConaughey and what kind of running he does? Luke sings he's a Lone Peak runner. Do you think is he a trail runner? He spent a lot of time in the wilderness. That's how he said he wrote that book, right? He wrote a book recently. Were you guys talking about that? He spent I don't know if he intended to spend 40 days in the wilderness, but he spent a lot of time, not exactly roughing it more than just camping, I feel like. Pia Johnson says Matthew McConaughey is a cowboy boot all day. Frank says I could see Allbirds. I could see maybe really? I'm not sure. Well, they're made out of eucalyptus, right? So I could see it. Maybe. Mark thinks Solomon. I think Solomon would work because if he is out on the trails, I could see it. Mark says, but he's definitely not wearing socks in them. Louis says the reef sandals. I wear reef sandals with the can opener. I was just about to buy another pair of those because it's getting hot now and I need another pair of sandals. So I was going to buy another pair. Christian says, but his character in True Detective, what would he wear? See, that's one I'm not familiar with that. So, but yeah, here's another vote for the Taramara Huarachis. Yeah, I think that's the consensus. So I think it's zero shoes. I could even see him in a Vibram five fingers, but I think it's the zero shoes, like the ones that like the white ones, like vegan leather, whatever that is. I'm not sure how they make that, but like I feel like that's what he's wearing because he's out there because then he could feel the rocks of the Texas outdoors underneath his feet. I feel like that's where he'd be at. Jay said his motto would be just keep running. Awesome. All right. Oh, and Martha says for Adam's mother-in-law, Brooks Revel 3 or 4. I think that'd be a good choice as well. And the price is great on those. They start at $100. So that's a great choice, Martha. I do like that one a lot. And Shannon says the Reebok Float Ride or the Five Fingers. Yeah, I could see it. Joey says he's probably running in socks with sandals. Oh, man. And Adam Steve says, my downstairs neighbor's got the On Cloud Ultra. Should I stage an intervention? Yeah, I don't know. But you know what? You know who's not running in Ons anymore? Rich Roll. Did you guys know that? I was listening to the podcast today on my run, and I don't know if he considers it being, I don't think he's sponsored by Solomon in the sense that like Courtney Dauwalter and like Killian Jornet are sponsored by Solomon, but they're like a sponsor of the podcast now, kind of like On was. So he's no longer with On, and now he's moved on to Solomon. So, which makes a lot more sense to me. The On connection just seemed really, I mean, maybe it does. I don't know. On was confusing. I'm like, does Rich Roll really like On shoes? I never really. Maybe he does love On shoes, but I don't know. All right, Joey H. Let's end with this one for today. Says, Cody, you remember me? You gave me advice on the track mile 2 weeks ago, and now I'm at CIF finals. Awesome. Let's get a cowbell in for that. Our only cowbell for the day today. Great work, Joey. Great work, Joey. Yeah, that's amazing. I don't know that my advice would have been all that great because I'm not a fast miler. So I think you're giving me too much credit, Joey. Good job to you, and good luck at the CIF finals. You'll have to let us know. Come back, let us know how it went because we are dying to hear your progress and any updates. All right, guys. I think that's going to be it for today. Thanks for indulging me in this game of If They Were Runners. I think it needs some massaging, this game, but it was pretty fun. But tomorrow's video, I'm going to talk about just kind of getting back into running after running the race over the weekend, kind of just how my body's holding up. So it'll be, just kind of like a little bit of a chat, not too long. And then tomorrow after the video comes out at 1:00, same time as today, we'll do another live stream, 1 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I'll see you again. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.